Hey everybody, Pandi here of Pandi's Hair Candy and more, as well as the Simply Pandi Show. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. If we are already chat family, welcome back. You already know that I am super excited to see you here. And thank you all for taking a moment to come on over and kick it with your girl. Today, I am going to be bringing you a little bit of trending recaps with Pandi. In this type of live stream, we'll just be chopping it up, chitting and chatting about various things that we have seen transpiring throughout the previous week, either here on social media as well as in our local news media outlets. So go ahead and grab yourself a snack or two or three and your favorite beverage and get comfortable, and feel free to join in and chime in the conversation. I do always appreciate and enjoy your feedback. Also, if you didn't remember to do so on your way coming in, please don't forget to blow dry on that like button for me. That way the content is shared and distributed on this platform. And if you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and double tap that notification bell so that you are notified each and every time that new content is added to the channel. Also, if you have the ability to do so, sharing is definitely caring. Make sure you share the video out. Shout out to the replay gang. Share this video out with a cousin, sister, mama, auntie, friend, co-worker, so that more people are aware of the channel. I am trying to grow the channel, guys, and I would love it if you could support in that fashion. So once again, I want to take a moment to thank you for clicking on this video. Again, this is going to be an open chat. We're going to just be discussing some things that have been going on in the trending headlines and the viral news stories and all that in between. So again, without further ado, go ahead and get yourself situated and we will begin the live stream momentarily. Welcome, 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 and I so appreciate you being here. Peace. Hey everybody. Hey Edward Smart. Hey East Media with BG. How is everybody doing? Happy Saturday. You hear me? You're on the same mission, growing the channel. Yes. Growing the channel is absolutely correct, y'all. Y'all already know we are on a constant grind. I am so happy to be live, y'all. I couldn't go live last night, so I think my thumbnail still says TGIF. So bear with me, y'all. This is the live stream that I had scheduled for Friday night. But as you all know, where I'm at, it was storming really bad, power outages, thunder, lightning, and heavy rain. So, of course, we can't let them analytics drop. We got to go on and keep it moving. So, that's what I'm here to do. And basically, this is going to be a trending topics live, pretty much a chop it up live. We're just going to be conversating about different things that are going on. And also, if you guys have any conversations or feedback or just in general, I'm here for you to talk. But I do have a couple of topics that I want to cover and get y'all's perspective on. So it sounds like and looks like you guys can hear me okay. And shout out to the replay gang for those of you catching it later. Let me first start off by saying happy Saturday to everybody. I hope everybody's Saturday has been great thus far. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting me on this afternoon for another edition of Trending Topics with Pandi. I appreciate the support. Definitely mad support is given on this platform, and so I appreciate it when I get it back, okay? Because I support a lot of people. Um, and there are several other places that you could be on a Saturday afternoon, so I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time. Now, many of you guys have already heard me say this once before that I've been working on trying to organize the content on this channel and kind of get a little flow. But of course, I also work full time, so it's kind of hard to juggle, but I do my best. And trying to, so far, the toughest part about that is just trying to stick to a consistent schedule. But I'm working on it. So keep me in prayer on that, y'all. Okay. But so far, I think I've been doing an all right job of sticking to the schedule that I have on the About Me tab and just trying to make sure I keep the consistency there. So, y'all stay tuned. Okay. Now, I'm not going to keep y'all too long. I'm going to jump right into today's trending topics. I do got a couple of key topics that I want to point out. And I meant to upload the information Brittany Griner. So I will be sure to come back with another little short video. That is the WNBA star that I spoke about a couple of weeks ago, who was being held over in Russia. I think there's been some updates with her. And so I have to come back because, I think it's good when I talk about certain stories that we go back and revisit them to kind of see how they turned out. So dang it, I'm kind of mad at myself, but I already had moved this time once and I didn't want to move it again. So I'm not going to talk about that. But what I do want to talk about is, what are y'all's thoughts on these dang on gas prices? What are y'all's thoughts? Because this is how I'm over here looking. This is how I'm over here looking right now. Okay. I'm like, me and my coworker was discussing it like, okay, it's almost like, do you need to get a moped or a scooter, or do we need to start biking or catching the bus? Because these gas prices are getting to be totally out of control. Okay. So, what are y'all's thoughts? And what are the gas prices looking like in your prospective areas? Because when I saw this sign here with regular 7.25 a gallon plus 7.45 Supreme 7.75, I about died because I'm like, hold up, I'm complaining about $4.30. I am literally searching, honey. I will drive past 4 or 5 gas stations to get to the 4.21 a gallon. Okay, because 4.21 a gallon is just like crazy to me. So, what are y'all's thoughts on this whole gas crisis? I actually read that basically the average price of gas is up nearly 46 cents per gallon, according to data compiled by AAA. And of course, it has exceeded $4 a gallon in all 50 states. Now, according to the industry analysts, the spike in demand coincides with a shortage of crude oil supply amid the whole Russia and Ukraine situation, which of course prompted a widespread industry exit from Russia, which of course pushed millions of barrels off the market. Wow. 539, Edward. Oh my God. I would be crying. I would lose all the weight in the world if I could bike bike to work. You hear me on the same mission? Yes. 539, that is crazy. It varies from island to island. Oh my God. Edward, I promise you, I'm complaining about $4.30. I remember, I swear, it had to been about 3 weeks ago. Gas was like 379 or 377 or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Now, I've been here in the South for probably about 13 years now. And when I came here, I came from Washington State, so gas was high there back in what, 2011? It was already high. Between Washington and California, I was already kind of used to high gas prices. So when I came down south, I was like, oh man, I'm loving this. The cost of living was cheap, groceries was cheap, gas prices was cheap. The only thing I didn't like is that the jobs paid way less. And most people that I met, most people that I knew, including my family members, almost everybody had worked 2 jobs just to equal up to the one job I was used to working up north. I thought that was insane too. So when I saw the gas hit $4 like a day after I heard it on the news, I was like, what? And it's continued to jump up. Like right now, pretty much the average gas price here is 4.30 a gallon. But whenever I look online or whatever and I see prices like this one on this picture, I go berserk. And even with what you're saying, 539, that's just extremely, I don't know, but according to the data analysts with AAA, they don't think that we're going to see any help anytime soon. So that was one of the key things I wanted to get y'all's perspective on. And next, y'all already know. Next, what I wanted to talk to you guys about and get y'all's idea or perspective or input, if you will, is all these mass shootings, okay? These mass shootings. Like, I've been hearing a lot of chatter about these shootings, especially in particularly on social media, especially if you're one to visit these different chat rooms. There is so much talk on this whole one world order thing. So much so, I was like, do I even want to have this conversation? But I do want to have the conversation because I just want to get people's perspective on where we're at with all this stuff, right? And I'm going to just share a little bit about what I saw trending and going very viral this past week. Now, let me look at my notes here and let me get this clip up here for y'all. And if y'all have not done so, please don't forget to blow dry on that like button, okay? All right, now here we are. Without further ado, we're just going to jump right into these recaps. And I only had a couple, okay? This particular recap is dealing with world news, of course, more specifically. So, like I said, um, the violence, the mass gun violence that's been going on. Okay. I feel this particular story, the more recent story, actually landed us in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But if you've been paying attention to the news, or if you're one to read a newspaper or surf through social media news clippings, we know that we started here. Okay. We started here. We had a situation in Buffalo, New York, right? Everybody was taken back. Everybody was shocked. It was crazy. It caught us by surprise. And then from there, we barely had a chance to get over it before we were dealing with yet a whole nother situation, right? A whole nother situation. And then that brings us to this recent situation, which took place in Tulsa, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, this particular story really made me think and ask myself, like, what in the world is going on? Even here where I'm at, the Emmanuel 9 shooting in the dang church, which I've always felt like was one of the most safest places that you could be. In God's house, you're praying, you're at a Bible study. It's like, I don't know, the uneasiness, the lack of safety, and this whole gun issue. And then you see people putting this political spin on it. There's all these talks about gun control, and, you know, it's just like, where next? What's next for us? Where do we go next? I'm going to share a little short video on this most recent shooting because I think it speaks volume to the whole mental health situation that our country is faced with, as well as the gun, or let me phrase this right. And I'm trying to choose my words carefully. The the level of, what's the word I'm looking for? The level of control or policing of how easy it is to get weapons into the average citizen's hands. I mean, it's just quite crazy. But let me do this before I do anything else, guys. I'm sourcing my citations. Okay. These are my sources and citations. This is where I get my clips from. This is where I get my news from. So I am giving credit to my sources. Okay. And also, with that being said, this is all alleged and being used for commentary and educational purposes under the Fair Use Act. Okay. So please understand. I agree, Edward. Congress needs to reinstate the ban on the assault weapons, but I don't see that happening. Yeah, that's been pretty big. That's been like the source and root of a lot of this conversation, right? So let's jump into this breaking news. One moment. So, in this most recent shooting, which ended, of course, in Tulsa, I find it very odd and very interesting. And I just want to get everybody else's perspective. We first had the mass shooting take place in Buffalo, New York. It was in a predominantly African American neighborhood. And then after the fact, we learned that the suspect had previously cased this location, if you will, a week prior because staff from the grocery store there remembered the gentleman, right? And then it was just the area and the victims that kind of looked very racially suspect, right? And then we turn around and we had the Uvalde, Texas situation. Okay. And that was a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood with Hispanic elementary school age children. Just so sad, so hurtful. And then now, this situation here, I just found it very bizarre. Y'all take a listen and tell me what your thoughts are, and if you're familiar with this story.
There was clear motive. This was what he planned to do. We have also found a letter on the suspect which made it clear that he came in with the intent to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way. On May 19th, Michael Lewis went into the hospital for a back surgery. The performing physician was Dr. Preston Phillips. After release, Lewis called several times over several days, complaining of pain and wanted additional treatment. On May 31st, Dr. Phillips saw Mr. Lewis again for additional treatment. Yesterday, June the 1st, Lewis called Dr. Phillips' office again. He blamed Dr. Phillips for the ongoing pain following the surgery.
So, as you all could see, that most recent situation occurred in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? And in the Tulsa, Oklahoma situation, there were four victims that were identified. Okay. And again, this was another mass shooting situation. However, there was some slight differences. And this is what made me really think about the severity of the mental health situation that we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And I really see this a lot in my line of work. But so there was a Tulsa doctor's office, right? Um the Tulsa Police Department actually claimed that this lone gunman, let me just read from the report. It says, allegedly, according to the police chief, the suspect, now identified as Michael Lewis, killed four people and then himself on the second floor of the Natalie Medical Building at the St. Francis campus. The Tulsa Police Department identified the victims as Dr. Preston Phillips, Dr. Stephanie Hussein or Hewson, Amanda Glenn, who they indicated was a receptionist there at the medical center, and William Love, who was just a bystander who happened to be in the office that day. Okay. Now, the Tulsa Police Chief, Wendell Franklin, also said that a letter was found on Lewis, the alleged gunman. He stated that the letter stated that he intended to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way. According to the chief, Lewis went into the hospital for back surgery back on May the 19th, which we heard him state in the video. Okay. His doctor, of course, was Preston Phillips, and Lewis was discharged on May the 24th. Now, after his discharge, Lewis was reported to have called in several times, complaining about being in extreme pain, and requesting additional treatment. Now, that I can believe because I'll tell you, I've had this conversation with my husband many a times, just being a hospital worker. I've seen people come in that look kind of sketchy, if you will. And let's say, for example, they may be getting a large controlled substance, pain controlled substance prescription filled every single month for like 180 tablets. And they look like, do you know what a person who abuses drug looks like? You know what I'm saying? You know what they look like. And yet they're getting these prescriptions just like nothing. And then you'll have a person come in and let's say they could be on crutches, they could be all banged up, cast on their arm, cast on their leg, and they'll come in and their prescription is for maybe 10 pills. And I'm thinking in my head, like, wow, 10 pills with their injuries, they're probably going to be out of this prescription in about 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Based on the doctor's orders on how to take this medication every 4 to 6 hours. You see what I'm saying? You do the math. So, just on that alone, that's why I'm saying I can understand the gentleman calling in and complaining about being in extreme pain after back surgery. That's a major, major surgery. Now, I don't know what happened that led to the next chain of events, but let me get back to what they said in the report. It says that after his discharge, he called several times over several days, stating that he was in extreme pain, requesting additional treatment. Now, Chief Franklin says that on May 31st, Dr. Phillips agreed to see Lewis again for additional treatment. And the next day, Lewis called asking to be treated again. Now, Chief Franklin also said that thanks to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, through gun tracing, they know that Lewis purchased an AR-15 style rifle on June 1st, the day of the shooting. So it wasn't really clear as to whether or not he saw him again on that follow-up day after he had seen him the previous day. But they also said that he had been able to purchase a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson from a local pawn shop 3 days earlier on the 29th. So my questions to you all, what do we see happening here? Like, what is really next? I feel like this particular situation is a very isolated situation. However, it's very crazy. And why is it do we feel like so many people are having what appears to be, and don't hold me to this, I'm not diagnosing, these are just my opinions. So, why is it do we think that so many people are resorting to these mass shootings? I'm just like, is it that people aren't taking mental health seriously? Or are people overlooking things? Is it the government and their restrictions or lack of restrictions with regards to gun control laws? I mean, it's just like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And it's almost a conversation that you want to have, but you really don't want to have. And it seems like as I was looking for trending topics this week, this was all I was stumbling across. Now I came across some other little things like Nene Leaks. Nene Leaks is actually being sued by her new boyfriend's ex-wife. I thought that's not really newsworthy conversation. And what else did I see? I saw that P Valley came back out yesterday, which I watched last night. Wasn't quite sure I wanted to review that though. But y'all get what I'm saying? The trending headlines and trending topics were all these mass shootings. So I said, that's what we're going to talk about. Let's just pick the people's brain and kind of see where everybody's thoughts are. So let me look in and see what y'all are saying on this. All right. Yes, Edward. Oh my goodness. You think so too? I believe that. I feel like it is a combination on, it's the whole mental health piece, it's the gun control laws or the lack of. I mean, why is it so easy to get a assault style rifle? Ain't that something that military normally have? That's not like a normal gun that you would even go hunting with. It's just crazy. And then, yes, you're right about that too, Edward. What they call them are pill mills. And, they're supposedly cracking down on those too, where these doctors are just handing out these scripts. Because when I first started working in the hospital, I used to work part-time for one of the local retail pharmacies as well. And that's where I would really see it. You don't see as much of that in the hospital as you do in a retail pharmacy chain. But yeah, we would be like, okay, how is so and so? Because you get to know the regular people, right? You see them every month. But we would be like, okay, how is it that these people come in here itching and scratching and picking at their face and looking all dingy and whatnot? But they coming up here getting 180 pills. Now that's the maximum. Okay, that is the maximum. And they look at how they look. Not that you're judging them, but presentation is everything. And you are trained to, you know, you're trained to look at those traits. It's called drug seeking behavior. And to work in this field, you're trained to kind of look for those things. And so then when you see people like that on a regular monthly basis and they get all frustrated if they can't get their prescriptions, or let's say you're out of the manufacturer, you need to place an order, like they get irate. So you can tell who's who when you're working in that field. But then when you see the guy come in, on, let's say, one of those scooters because he just had surgery on his foot, he's visibly injured. He's visibly in pain. And he's probably coming to drop off his pain prescription. And you look at it and it's like for 8 tablets. And it's just like something is terribly wrong with this. And I noticed too that across the board, more hospitals, medical centers, and I'm not sure about non-medical related facilities, but more and more employers are requiring their employees to do diversity and inclusion training. And I guess that's a start. That's at least an attempt at trying to get people, it's like a sensitivity training. And I guess that would help kinda start the ball rolling in the right place, because there was a lot of people kinda being singled out and targeted there as well, as far as, you know, people making judgments on people based on, your perception is everything, and you have to be very careful, because sometimes it's not always what it appears just visually looking at a thing. But I just wondered where everybody's thoughts were, and are you guys being as inundated with this mass shooting stuff in your timelines as I was? I was just over it. I wasn't even planning to talk about it, but I was like, you know what? That seems to be what's bombarding us. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So this is Dr. Phillips, Dr. Preston Phillips. Um, he was the surgeon who performed the gentleman's back surgery. In this group picture here, that is the other surgeon who assisted with the surgery. I forget what they said her name was, and I wrote it down. Natalie. No, 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 no. Natalie is the name of the building. Now I can't see her name anywhere. It's somewhere in my notes. But anyway, this blonde lady here was the other surgeon. The gentleman there in the cowboy hat was just in the office that day. And then the young lady at the bottom right, I'm sorry, well, yeah, bottom right, I guess, depending on how you're looking at it. She was the receptionist there. And this man probably was in excruciating pain, but I just wonder, dude, like if you're already in pain, you done had back surgery, so I know his mobility was not even that good. So you gonna go shoot up the place? It's nuts to me. I can't really make sense out of it, y'all. I cannot make sense out of it. But anyway, I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about it. Um, because I don't want to get struck on my channel. And for the most part, you all know that over here, this is not the source of my content. However, I feel like we should be able to discuss and talk about certain things, especially when they are trending. Like we're being overrun by these mass violent shootings. And I when you look at it, it's getting out of control. It's beyond out of control. And I just wonder what's next. What's next? And what are some of the things that we can do to kind of protect ourselves, to protect our families and our homes? Because I'm sure that lady didn't think going into work that day as the receptionist that was going to be her last day here. I'm sure them people at the Emmanuel 9 here in Charleston didn't think when they had a visitor come for Bible study that that was going to be their last time being here. Thank you, Edward. Thanks for sharing. It's just crazy. It's crazy. I'm sure the people in Buffalo shopping at their local neighborhood grocery store, I'm sure they didn't think that going to the grocery store that somebody was going to come in there and just start picking people off, right? It's just like what is going on? And then this just took me out. Like, you know, the babies, the babies. It's just sad. It's sad, guys. But on a lighter note, let me get that off because I'm not trying to bring everyone down, but I am really just curious like, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Edward says Congress Republicans are concentrating on hardening security at schools and making red flag laws, but they need to focus on the main problem, which is banning assault weapons. Now, I think you definitely got a point right there, Edward, because I mean, I'm not necessarily for gun restriction to the point where people cannot have weapons to protect themselves, but I definitely don't see the purpose of civilians having automatic assault weapons. You know, what you need was something that's going to shoot 40 rounds in 5 seconds. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. So I agree. You have a very good point there. Making red flag laws more effective. Yes, yes. The doctor's willing to give that easy prescription. Yes. And then, two, I noticed this was a big difference for me too. I will say that stood out to me. Moving from up north, from the northwest to the southeast. Um, what immediately caught my attention here that I thought was super strange is every week, almost literally like clockwork, the pharmacies would get robbed. And I'm talking like a lone gunman going into the pharmacy and holding up the joint at gunpoint to rob them of their opioids. And you all see how we have this opioid crisis going on here. But in like Seattle, that was unheard of. I had never heard of such foolishness until I got here. And I was like, oh my God, the people be robbing the dang pharmacies? Like for real? Because that was what I did for a living. So I was just like, oh my God, is this going to be dangerous? Like, is this serious? So that is why I also opted to go from the retail side back on into the hospital side. So the drug situation, the mental health situation, the gun control situation, I think it just all together is an issue. And diversity and inclusion, that's also an issue because there's a certain level of hate out here all over the place. Doesn't matter where you go. Okay. It's just so many factors contributing to this one situation. And you see it playing out on several different fronts. The Flintstone car. Yes, you remember that from Bedrock, getting there and kickstart and be running down the road and then you just take off. I believe Bam Bam and Pebbles was pushing it. Yeah, I had to put up something to give us a lighter note to end on because the story was a little sad and getting to be down. Hey, Dance 87, how you doing? How you doing, Blinding Lights? Good to see you. We're just chatting about some of the trending topics that were going on this week. A lot of them, of course, had to deal with these mass shootings and pretty much just giving our opinion and our take on where we go from here as a society. You know, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing well also. I'm doing well also. Thank you. So, before I go, shout out to the members. Thank you so much, Edward, being in here. Um, the only member too. I wanted to, well, do I want to discuss this right now? I guess I'm thinking about changing this channel name. Y'all probably be like, Pandy don't know what the world she want to do. But I do know what I want to do, but I have a hard time narrowing it down. But I'm thinking about making this channel name the Simply Pandy Show, which is of course the name to my other channel. But I really am thinking about taking all of my reactions and reviews and trending topics, stuff like this, over to that channel so that that channel is only reviews and trending topics because these trending topics conversations, as great as they are, they really don't have a lot to do with my main source of content over here, which is the hair, beauty, skin, wellness, lifestyle, encouragement, motivation, that type of thing. And so I know that it could possibly throw things off with the analytics, and I don't want to do that. So, what are y'all's thoughts? You guys think that'll be a good idea? Just looking for some feedback. Y'all can let me know in the comments. That's what I'm planning to do. So, if you guys see the Simply Pandy Show come up, and I'm still trying to decide on the name, but I think that's what it's going to be, the Simply Pandy Show. It's still going to be doing the same stuff I'm doing, but my TV show reviews and trending topic news like this won't be over here anymore. It'll just be focused on hair, beauty, skin, self-care, that type of stuff. That's all it'll be over here so that I can not confuse the algorithm. Thank you. East Media says, great idea. I think so too. So yeah, if y'all see that pop up, that's gonna be me. That's gonna be this same channel. And my moderator, my self-moderator is already up in here under that name. I've been using that name for a minute anyway. So y'all will know that's me. You know, sounds good to you, Edward. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for the feedback. Yep, yep, yep. And there was something else I was going to talk about, but it done escaped me. I think that was pretty much it, though, guys. I just really came on because I couldn't come on last night. Power was flickering on and off. It's raining outside still now, but it's not as stormy. And so I wanted to go on and get my live out of the way since I had prepared all these little slides and things for it. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for contributing to the conversation. Thank you for sharing out the stream. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for being a member. Shout out to Pandy's Peeps. I appreciate the support, Edward. I really appreciate that. Longtime supporter. Um, East Media with BG and Dance 87. Thank you so much for supporting me on today. I appreciate you all being here and I appreciate your feedback to the conversation. And BG, I'm really looking forward to you in your, I don't know if you're going to do like classes or videos. I know you've been doing a lot of community tab posts on the financial literacy information. So that's great. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. The I know one while there you started talking about showing us how to get started with the investments with something as little as maybe like $25 a week or something. So definitely you did one last night. I didn't get no notification. Oh my god. I missed it. Oh wow. I'm gonna have to catch the replay. I was just sitting here really about to ask you when you was gonna be going live. Okay, all right, East Media. I'm gonna have to check that out. Dang, wonder why I didn't get the notification. You didn't get it either, Edward? Okay. See, ain't that something? I'm telling you, sometimes I swear I hear people on YouTube say that they feel like they've been shadow banned. And sometimes I feel that way too because I be like, okay, I have a lot of content on my channel, but people tell me all the time that they don't get my notifications. But then you'll see something stupid going on, and a gang of notifications go out on that. So, but then I also convinced myself like I'm not a big enough YouTuber to be shadow banned. So it's just weird. I don't know. Which is another reason why I'm trying to narrow my content down because, I could have possibly confused the algorithm with having so many different topics on my channel. So I'm going to start there. Now, if I don't see some improvement with the way my content is being shared on this platform, I'm going to feel some type of way. I'm going to feel some type of way because I honestly would think that I would at least be at 2,000 subscribers by now. But I ain't mad about the slow growth. I ain't mad at all. It allows me the time to tweak a few things here and there and get it just how I want it to be. But yeah, I'm gonna have to check out the replay too, BG, because I was looking forward to that. I know you had mentioned it, and I've been enjoying all those community chat posts that you've been putting up. You are one of the few people who is actually taking the time to really like break it down for us and take us step by step and give us real life scenarios and how to apply it. And I think that's what makes your uh presentation and the way that you share it more relatable. You know, it's not like some Wall Street corporate executive talking over our head. This is like a everyday person, somebody that we see and talk to on a regular basis, coming to us, keeping it real, and telling us what it is, and letting us know it's obtainable. It's not out of reach. So I'm gonna have to catch that replay. I am mad that I missed it, And I thank y'all and appreciate you for coming through. Let me go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all be blessed. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you again for coming through, y'all. All right. Don't forget, share, share, share. Sharing is caring, y'all. If y'all didn't remember to do that on your way coming in. Take care, y'all. Hey, everybody. Pandi here of Pandi's Hair, Candy, and More, as well as the Simply Pandi Show. Thank you so very much for taking a moment to click onto the video. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. If we are already chat family, welcome back. You know I am excited to see you. Over here, for the most part, this channel is based on my love for hair. Of course, thank you so much for coming through and kicking it with your girl. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I hope you were thoroughly entertained. And if you didn't remember to do so on your way coming in, please don't forget to blow dry on that like button.